Yeah, fucking hit it.
Hit it.
Hit it.
Oh,
Hit
fuck,
it.
how good was that song?
You like that? What? Hit
I
it.
don't know.
Oh. We did it again. We did it again.
Oops,
We come in here and we sit down and we start chit-chatting about all the shit that's been on the forefront of our mind, and then we're like, shit, didn't hit record. Beautiful
mate.
people, welcome back to the Pub Ammo podcast. I'm Jai.
I'm Taz.
Oh, I'm Quinn.
Indeed, indeed. And we're going to fill your ear holes with the most useless information you'll hear this week, guaranteed.
This week,
Without a shadow of a
by
doubt.
far.
And what were we just talking about? Real quick, go.
Ah, okay, let's go down to AI.
AI, the AI hole.
Oh, these yowies.
Oh, I wonder
And
how quick.
Yetis.
Yeah, so there's the Yowie, there's the Yetis, there's the baby AI stuff and that sort of thing that's all popping up, and it's brilliant. It's so good.
What did one Yeti just say just then?
Well, what's the difference between
A priest and acne?
yeah. At least the acne will wait until you're 13 to come on your face. We'll post this for relevance, obviously. We'll tie it all in.
He only said it.
But, I'm just repeating it. Don't put me in the same boat as those clowns. But the AI stuff it's going nuts now. Like, it's really becoming hard to tell what's above board and what's not.
It's getting scary.
It's getting scary, and the progression is going so quick, because you were just saying, Q,
Yeah.
that
I was like,
with the
imagine-
Yowie one and the
Yeah.
and the Yeti one or whatever it is,
Yeah.
people are just typing in the
just
information
prompts.
and then
Yeah,
it's
you
generating
just
it.
type in and it just does it itself. Have you used ChatGPT?
Yeah, I have on a
Yeah,
couple
yeah,
of things.
yeah.
Not
Like-
a lot. I should probably use it more.
That's how
Yeah,
he got
it's
his
actually
resume.
ridiculous.
Oh, I wish it was around when I was at uni. I tell you
Like,
what,
I haven't
bro.
used it for because my mate uses it a lot, and he's like, "Why don't you give it a go?" And I did it because and I was just like, "Wow."
For your Tinder profile.
Yeah.
Grinder,
Grinder,
broker.
get it right. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy what it does.
Yeah.
And how it does it. It's
That's
just
right.
like-
And we're talking about the stuff that we see on the socials, like the average Joe like us, the content creators like us that are creating these sorts of things.
No, we're influencers.
Well, yeah, we're not
Fuck, if you ever
influencers.
call yourself an influencer, I'll fucking bust you up.
I'll bust you up.
bust it.
Things will get physical real fast. But imagine if that's what they can achieve. Imagine what governments are doing now
With more technology.
with,
They probably
with
have
what they have.
way more. Like NVIDIA, I think NVIDIA's like the big AI
Is
thing.
it?
It used to be graphics cards, but now they've swung to AI, and their whole market share is AI.
And it's becoming really hard to tell what's legit and
Oh,
what's
how
not,
good it is. Like,
isn't it?
You
Yeah.
think about the AI side of things in movies, how cheaper you can make a movie now.
Well, that's exactly right.
And-
What do you
yeah,
need? A green
yeah.
screen,
Yeah, not even.
you know?
A computer.
No, yeah, you
Yeah,
just put it in the
literally,
video and
literally.
say,
Type the prompts in.
put this, and it'll do
I
it.
mean, it's getting to the point where the actors are going to become superfluous,
Yeah,
isn't it?
I
That-
think
that-
there was a big thing
yeah, they were
about
talking
art
about that.
and
Yeah.
scripts and stuff with AI.
Yeah.
And yeah, big pushback against it because it's not art. It's not, the form of media.
That's
you
just
know?
the rich.
It's-
That's just the
yeah.
rich wanting to
It's a
hold
big-
on to their little piece of the
it's a
pie, isn't
big-
it?
Yeah, it's a big thing. It's a big thing.
Far out.
They'll get it, you know why? Because most of them are Jewish.
Yeah, that's exactly
they'll
right.
stop it. They'll
That's-
definitely stop it.
I've got a good one on that. Speaking of AI, the Jewish government or the Jewish Israeli Defense Force, I think it was, they came up with some sort of AI generator like platform that they could use, and their own platform that they developed said that they were committing a genocide, and they shut it down. They had to get rid of it because people started using it and putting in like, is Israel committing a genocide? And it was like, yeah, of course, yep, yeah, it is. So they had to get rid of it.
Actually, I heard there's an old fella that invented AI, and he put a post. They put a post up the other day about him, and what he said by 2036 we're fucked unless we do something right now, like now.
Doesn't it become a little bit scary when you think about something like the Terminator?
Yeah,
Like,
he
how
said-
long ago did
he
the
said-
movie
he
Terminator
said,
come
don't
out?
think about Terminator. That's the good one.
Really?
It's way worse. It's going to be way worse because computers and all this shit they don't give a fuck about us.
And this is the thing, isn't it?
And if you look at the human race, we are a cancer on this earth.
Oh yeah, of course, we're the biggest cockroach on the planet, without a shadow of a doubt. But we were talking about it the other week. Like they're taking pilots out of the cockpit, you know, but and vicariously, a human is still operating the machine, whether he's sitting in a bunker somewhere, like a remote control plane. With the AI stuff, eventually that dude's going to become non-existent, obsolete.
Yeah, obsolete.
Or a
And then
yowie.
there's or a yowie, yeah. And then there's no emotion. Then there's no conscience. Then is there? It's
Nothing.
just if
Yeah,
there's a
it's
game
just-
plan or a war plan that needs to be adhered to,
If you scan as the enemy,
the machine's
boom.
going to adhere to it.
yeah.
It's a scary
So, I
thing, man.
watched
It really is.
I watched another thing the other day on the Ukraine war, whatever.
Yep.
And you know how they instead of using drones that they can frag, whatever they call them. Where
Yeah.
They can shoot them out of the sky with just like they use these ones with tethers now, like optical fiber.
Yeah.
But the whole paddocks are just
Covered in fibre optics.
in fiber optics because they've used that many drones. You
Yeah,
go to
that's
walk
right.
through that paddock, it'll look like you're caught up in fairy floss.
Isn't it
Yeah.
nuts?
Because if they're not using that, they get jammed.
Yeah.
They fall out of the sky.
Mm.
I actually have to give a little bit of props to the Ukrainians for their little setup that they did. Did you hear about how they got all those drones in there?
In the
Oh,
trucks.
yeah.
In the trucks,
Real
three
Trojan horse
semis
sort
with
of.
it was,
Trojan
wasn't it?
horse
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
for
yeah.
that.
And they were there for weeks.
The
or
Battle
months.
of Achilles. Yeah, they
Yeah.
just sat there, and apparently the most amazing part was there was no roof on those containers. They just sat there open for the whole time. But because it's a shipping container, how often do you look at the roof of a shipping container?
Mm.
And they were parked in an area where no one could see. And then when it was go time, and they kicked up. Unfortunately, though, they went and picked a blue with a bloke that's got a heap of intercontinental ballistic missiles. So I'm not sure how well they're doing now. I think the fallout's gone the other way. You know what I mean? Like everyone was like, yeah. And now they're like, ah. Even the Ukrainian military is like, whose fucking idea was that? You wouldn't want to be there for quids. You really wouldn't. We're lucky where we live. But
We're
it's
definitely lucky. where we live.
yeah, but it's scary, man.
I was thinking about that today. Like, I had a real every now and then I just have real deep thoughts.
Okay,
And
an epiphany.
an epiphany. And
Good word.
people might be carrying on about how white man came to Australia and just pretty much stole the land.
Mm.
Now think about China just coming in and just going, right, I've got a bigger gun, tank, and get out of your house, out of your property, and fuck off.
And a couple of 100 million people more.
Yeah, and just like you'd have to give everything that you earned and did everything
Yep.
you did your whole life. Just you'd have to give it up.
You would, eh?
You'd have to walk off.
Imagine that.
Because family's everything and like life's everything.
Yep, imagine that.
Yeah, so that was just like I'm just driving up the driveway. I thought of that.
Yeah, I've thought about that a few times. Like we sit here and we point fingers. I don't think China's coming this way. That's my personal opinion on it. I think that China, like,
They're like, fuck, let them do all the work.
Yeah.
We'll just
Yeah.
buy it off.
we'll
them
just buy it off
at a
them.
really cheap
Do you know what I
price.
mean? I think it's just very much that kind of mainstream propaganda that set China up to be the bad guy all the time.
Xenophobia.
Yeah,
Yeah,
even though, let's be honest, they haven't done shit in the last couple of 100 years. But if they were to come over, we would. We'd have to learn Mandarin.
Yep.
We'd have to
Even orange.
We'd have to say fuck. Yeah,
I
I
hate
don't
how you
know.
know where that fucking button is.
You'd have to take on you'd have to give up your religion because they're not real keen on religion. There'd be all these different things that'd be your whole way of life. You'd have to say goodbye to and just take on somebody else's ethos.
Mm.
And when you think about it that way, what percentage of Australia would be cool with that? It'd be pretty small, wouldn't it?
Only the Chinese own half Australia. At the
Well,
moment.
yeah, look.
No, 49%, not 51.
So if we now backpedal 200 years,
Yeah.
when we did it the first time,
Mm.
maybe we should have a little understanding of
Yeah.
why they're in the predicament that they're in,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
why we have the
And
separation
it's
that we
only
have.
200 fucking years.
Man, I read something.
nothing.
Okay,
And,
I
like,
actually,
yeah,
So many places get taken. So I think
I
that
swear-
the average lifespan of a thing is 350 years of a like continent or a what do you call it?
Culture?
Culture or whatever. Like the Greeks, they only go through like 350
The Ottoman Empire.
It's-
and
it's
stuff,
so funny that-
empires.
Yeah,
Empires.
Empire.
I
Yeah.
swear to God, we think
Everyone's
about the
sitting
same
driving
thing.
their car going, fucking empire, fuck
Yeah,
Empire,
yeah.
cunt.
You should know this.
Empire.
I eat lots of pies.
So
Those-
it's funny because I only found this 2 days ago, and I thought I'd write it down. One of the last documented massacres in Australia was the Coniston massacre, Coniston Creek, I think it was Coniston Creek massacre, and dingo trapper was killed for being in a sacred area, and there's a bit of conjecture as to whether he was being not so kind to some of the Indigenous women in the area and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, the Indigenous tribe out that way killed him, and in revenge, the police came out and killed 100 Aboriginals. When do you reckon that was? This is all documented. This is not bullshit. This is all documented.
Fuck, probably 20s or something.
It was 1928.
Fuck me.
That's just less than 100 years ago, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
There's
we.
people alive still that.
Yeah.
This is my point.
Yeah.
This is my point. It was less than 100 years ago. Now, what if we flipped the script and we turned around and went, well, hang on. Well, World War One was over 100 years ago. Let's have like a centennial marker where maybe after 100 years we just don't talk about it anymore. We don't have to commemorate it. We don't have to do anything like that. I'm not saying that's what we should do, but a little bit of perspective about it. This happened here and was more recent than the World War. So do we, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we're all far too quick to kind of just overlook it and point fingers and say, oh, it's because of this and it's because of that. It just, a little bit of understanding.
Yeah.
A little bit of understanding.
Definite.
Anyway. I swear to God, sometimes we think the same.
Yeah. Empires, umpires.
Umpires. Hey, speaking of umpires, quick sport one. Did you see the changes to
Origin.
the Origin team?
A little bit.
Okay. Look, realistically,
What are your thoughts?
there's not too many.
Capewell?
I actually don't mind Capewell coming in because he's been having an absolute banger of a season for the Warriors.
I heard that
He's
they
been
played
playing in
him
the centres. He's been playing almost the whole season in the centres.
So
he's been
need to put
awesome.
him in there to
He's
hold
been awesome.
the two boys.
So yeah, the back line pretty much hasn't changed except for Tommy Dearden. Tommy Dearden's in. And to be honest, everyone's banging on, oh, Billy isn't hitting and sticking, picking and sticking. Do you know what I mean? Everyone south of the border's having a go at Billy for dropping DCE.
And you know what would happen if he didn't, and then it'd be like, oh, he should have fucked him off.
Well, here's the thing. DCE hasn't been setting the world on fire this year, and I'm a huge DCE fan. I think he's been amazing for Queensland and all that sort of stuff. But to back DCE when he's out of form, he's at the end of career, he's old, and there's a couple of young fellas that are playing really, really good.
And
that's loyalty.
He probably already told him. He said, mate, I'm going to give you a run here.
I have no
And
doubt.
It's pretty much...
It's a
if you do
loyalty
well,
run.
It's a loyalty run. If
Yep.
you do well, you're in. But
Yep.
it's what it is.
It is. So New South Wales went through it. Jesus, New South Wales used to chop and change every second game, literally.
Every second hour.
Yeah, but they're in the box seat now where they have a lot of the trump cards.
But how good is Kurt Capewell? He gets to wear his Warrior
He gets to
jersey.
wear his Warriors jersey in the lineup far out. That's
If
too
you
funny.
Google it on the NRL site, they've
Yeah.
got. Hasn't he played before?
No, he has. So I don't know why
I
they
don't
just
know why
didn't
they've
use an
got the
older
fucking-
jersey.
yeah. They got him in a Warriors. Everyone else is wearing Queensland jersey.
So yeah, it's a shame DCE's on the outer. I think his Origin career's over, and to be honest, I feel like his NRL career is probably not far off being over.
He's
either.
old. He's
37.
Yeah.
You know what I
Jeez.
mean? Like he's had an absolutely unbelievable career. So good on him.
Ezra Mams in.
Yeah. What do you reckon?
There's
I
big
haven't watched him
controversy
play.
about
I haven't
it.
watched him
There
play.
is a.
is, yeah,
He's been
everyone's
good.
saying.
He's come back. He's played 2 games, and he's been one of the best on the paddock.
He's gone through his shit. He had his time off. Leave him fucking alone.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I said. If he's good enough to play, let him play. 'Cause
This is the thing now.
when he fucking in that grand final, he fucking played.
He tore
the
it
skin
up.
off that football.
He tore it up. If it wasn't for
tore
the
it
best, if it wasn't for the fact he was playing the best halfback in the
Yeah.
game, they would have won that game by 20 odd points. And you can't blame. I don't think you can blame him for the loss. Jack Howarth, that's been named as on the extended bench. Man, this kid's a gun. Hey, he was like, I can't remember if he went to Nudgee or Brisbane Boys. He was a Union kid growing up, and then the Storm being the Storm, they kind of poached him. Man, he's a big, fast kid, and he can play footy. I feel like moving.
105 kilo.
He's
fucking
huge.
Pretty big.
He's a giant.
193, he's
Yeah,
good.
brother, he's a big boy,
Yeah.
and he can motor. Like he's got some wheels about him. He's a big, strong
From
kid.
Mackay.
And I feel he's one of those. You know how the Storm do it? They just
Yeah.
sneak in. They poach these kids
Well,
before
they're
they
like
they
they're the
get there.
Broncos of everywhere else.
They are, aren't they? Yeah.
It's either the Broncos or Storm when you want to play for a team.
And I don't think the Blues have changed much at all. Oh no, that big Utikimano. How do you put Utikimano? I think it is. Where is he? Down the bottom. He's on the bench.
Is he?
Stefano Utoikamano. He's out because he's having a baby. Well, obviously he's not. His missus is. So he's out, and they bought
Oh,
somebody
mate,
else.
this
in.
day and
I'm
age,
not
he
sure
won't
who. Yeah, true way. So I don't know. I still think New South Wales are the favourites, and I think they probably deserve to be. It's a hell of a lineup that they've got, and they were pretty dominant last time. I don't think that's going to change much. So
that Zach Lomax is a really good footy player.
he's a
right?
really good footy player. It's annoying.
Yeah, he should be a Queenslander.
Yeah.
Come play for Queensland anytime you want, brother.
He's a very good footballer, right? And look at the size of these guys, man.
Yeah.
They're all like 100 plus and 190 plus. Like
105
they're all
kilos
units,
and
aren't they?
just Bricks.
Go to Cleary for me, bud. What's his stats? How big's Nathan Cleary?
Let me guess. Don't go to it yet. What do you reckon?
I reckon he's probably about 95, 96, and he's probably about my height, about 180.
I reckon be 180, and he'd be I was about to say exact same. I reckon
You
probably
reckon?
95, 98.
What do we got? 182 and 92. So not far off. So he's he's a little bit taller than me and a little bit fitter, a little bit lighter. Probably hasn't got the same kind of fitness,
You didn't have the
density.
Jaw. You didn't have the jaw.
I certainly
Not
don't
that
have
weight
that
in
jaw,
that
bro.
jaw.
My band dog at home has that jaw.
I've got one outside. He's got a jaw.
Yeah,
like
you
that.
do. That's exactly right. But that's one of the smaller players on the field, man. Like they're all just giants now, aren't they?
Mm.
What's Kalen Ponga come in at? I bet you he's
No,
95.
no. Let me
Oh,
guess.
two-
You
you
seen
showed it. We already seen it. So 184 and 92. 184. Far out. That's 6'1".
He's a centimetre shorter than me, 2 centimetres shorter than me.
Far out. How tall are you?
186.
Are you?
185, 186. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay then.
Just depends what
Man.
what day, what side I got out of bed.
I'm a short king. I can live with that. And what about Big Tino? What's he coming at?
Guess.
Oh, I'm going to go 115. He's got to be.
197, I reckon he is. You gotta stop clicking on him. Fuck you.
Too quick.
You're too good. You're like the Jamie of us.
107? No way. No way.
That's tall.
He's tall, but
He's
he's
tall,
not
but
that
he
heavy.
can't be only 107. Surely not. Not at that height and that thickness.
Well,
That's got
what's
to be
Crichton?
bullshit.
I reckon Crichton be the same as him,
I reckon Crichton would be.
even heavier.
No, I don't know about heavier. I reckon he might.
Go
Where you
there.
go?
Go, guess.
Where you go?
Guess.
I reckon
Alright, yeah.
104 and
I reckon-
193
Yep.
ish. Oi.
Oh,
Hey!
99.
Oh, no, 99. That. No,
They should fold him. He's only 99.
that can't be right.
But he's,
What about big?
he's nice.
Far out, he was
nice,
born in
see that-
Samoa.
See his birthplace, that nice place. He's,
Up here.
that nice New South Wales
Yeah.
birthplace.
Well, boy, we can't point fingers, bro. We need to shut up about who's playing for us at the moment and where they were born. Because there's a couple of Kiwis, there's a Samoan, there's a Western Australian.
Yeah, but you only look at the opposition, don't look at yourself. Like politics.
What about Payne Haas? He's got to be 125 or 120 at least. 120 and 195. 194 and 117. Okay, well that's believable. God,
And one's a
that's
10-second
big,
100.
That's a big human, eh?
And a 10-second 100.
That
He's
is a-
only young too. He's
That is a
25.
monster of a man, bro. Like really, 117, and he plays like 70 to 80 minutes each
but
week.
They pulled him off the other night. I'm like, okay, why?
Yeah,
Just replace him with everyone else.
he probably wanted a hot shower.
He's like, what did I do wrong? No, we're just giving you a rest. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, they're crazy. That's crazy. So cool.
Yeah. So
Let's
Kurt
see how
Mann,
it all
I
works
don't know
out.
much about Kurt Mann.
Plays for the Bulldogs, and he's pretty good, man. He's one of them like tackling machines that'll go out and make 60 tackles a game.
So he's not that
88,
big.
184.
What's he playing?
I think this is what's letting us down though, is
Yeah.
we just don't quite have enough
184,
size.
88 kilos, and he's playing second row. What's he
Yeah,
playing?
but so some Ruben Cotter, man. Have a look at Ruben Cotter. Ruben Cotter is only like a 94 or 95 kilo human being. He makes a bucket load of
Yeah.
tackles every game. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's getting to the
Yeah, we
point.
looked
Yeah, look,
last time,
180 and
yeah.
95. So he's my size, man. Going up against monsters like that. There's only so many times a Corolla can have a crash with a bus before the Corolla loses.
And that's one.
It's once.
It's pretty much.
It's once.
You know, and I think that's where we're struggling at the moment. We just don't have the go forward that that they have.
Well, it just seems like Billy's game's just going to have to be swing the ball
Run
around.
it.
That's my thing.
Run it from everywhere.
and swing
Run and
it.
ragged. Kick
Well,
early.
they were doing it, but it's just that a lot of stuff didn't go their way.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And
just-
another footy one, shout out to the ACT Brumbies. They made it through the semi-finals in the Super Rugby. So good on them. I feel like the Australian team's going to be a lot better this year than what it has been.
never heard of him.
Because the Reds, no, never heard of her. Because the Reds were the same. The
Is
Reds,
that like a
Reds
horse
were unlucky
stable?
to go through. Ask Bill. Ask Bill. He'll know.
Stables.
What else is new, brother? How's farm life treating you?
Oh, farm. We're really busy at the moment.
Are you?
Yeah.
Good time of the year,
Not
though, isn't
keeping
it?
up. Yeah. And I was explaining to you today about when we have a lot more bananas on, we actually can use less workers.
Yeah, I know. This never occurred to me because I'm not a banana farmer. But I would have thought when you've got more fruit, you need more hands. But you don't. Why?
Just because if the fruit's more available, you don't have to have that many people searching for it.
Because it's all there. Like
It just you just walk out
every
and grab another one.
second,
And
every
just get another
second
one.
tree has a bunch on it.
Yeah.
Whereas a quiet time of the year, every 5th, 6th.
Oh, whatever, 10th. And,
Even
but
really?
They're running, or more 20th sometimes, yeah. 40th,
True.
yeah. And so they're running from, we usually cut 3 rows each side of the trailer.
Yep.
And so you're walking probably, well, that's 680, so 20 meters away from the trailer.
As a minimum.
Yeah.
Yep. But then when there's not much fruit, you might have to do 10 rows to get a
Oh, no, you still do the same amount of rows, but you're just covering the ground. It's all about covering the ground.
Yeah.
And then what happens is then they'll walk ahead, they'll find a bunch, they stand under it and then have a rest because the tractor's not there. And
Yep.
all of a sudden, no fruit's going to the shed.
Yep.
So that's why when you got a lot of fruit, you can actually have less people.
Yeah. Because they're not like you said, they're each every 10 yards they're finding a bunch
Yeah, and
and
just put it straight on the trailer.
the trailer
clean
fills up quick
Yeah,
and the
shed
trailer's
fills
back
up
in the
quick.
shed.
Yeah.
Gotcha. See, look at this.
Fucking bananas.
Bananas 101.
How's Banana Talk brought to you by Justin on Poetry Limited. If you go to Coles and Woolworths, check them out.
Yeah, bro.
Mainly Woolworths, fuck Coles.
Mainly were worse.
Fuck
Yeah. And those ones on the side of the road, they're not ours.
Yeah. They're not. Then someone else said, "Oh, I bet you eat a lot of bananas." Like, I don't eat my bananas ever.
But I feel like
Only if I bend over correctly.
When he slips
Take
over
a
in
couple
the
of
paddock.
ribs out.
go all Marilyn Manson on it. I wonder if that's true.
Well, I reckon it'd have to be
I'm pretty lucky I don't have to take the ribs out.
because you do it for
I'm
me.
just I don't know why we're mates.
Do I need to leave the room?
No. You
The
can,
womb,
you
the
can,
womb.
you can watch.
That's what
You can record.
We should call this
Uh,
room the womb.
I'm not shy. I'm not shy. Don't even worry about it. All right. So, pub ammo. Have you got any? Because that's what we're about. Anyone know what the?
All right. So I've only got one,
Yeah,
and you know how you say I'm an audiophile.
you are.
It's getting to me really bad at the moment because we fucked around with that last night, and I can hear the aircon. I can hear a lot of different
You can hear
noises. Yeah,
everything.
and it's really getting to me. But it's all good. I don't know if it might be just my channel or what, but it's like I can hear everything, and then my audio pedophile sort of thing's coming out of me.
Yeah, I reckon that's just you. I can't hear shit. But that doesn't mean to say the sound that's not there. Could also be the voices in your head, bro.
Yeah, I think it's your fucking voice.
Okay. We'll not rule that out.
It's
We'll
in my
not
head,
rule
alright.
that out at all.
No, so my main one is the saying "fly off the handle."
Oh, yeah.
Do you know where that comes from?
No?
So back in the ancient Victorian times, when they used to cut down lots of big, really huge trees and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and they used axes
Yeah.
to cut down the trees, and every now and then the old axes they just
The head had come off.
the head would come off and just
Yeah.
fly off and hit someone. Well, don't fly off the handle.
Is that
That's
it?
where it come from.
That's cool. That's cool. I like that one. I'm going to have to remember that. What about, okay, let's go for a marine one because we love the ocean. Knots. You know where that come from?
Yeah, I do actually.
Yeah, go shoot. What do you reckon?
It's like a paddle that goes off the back of the boat on a rope, and it spins
That's the one.
as the speed of the boat goes
Yeah,
along.
and it has knots tied at certain
Yeah.
distances. And,
And
they
then
count
how
how
many
many
turns,
knots. Yeah,
yeah.
that's exactly right. And that'd give a mark of speed. Fuckhead, you could have just said no.
Okay. No, what is it? Tell me.
No,
Tell
no,
me.
no, don't worry about it. You got it. Yeah, smart ass.
But you said
Good,
to me,
no,
oh,
no,
what
good for
is
you.
it?
Good for you. What about the next one? What about
Hey, what's the brand of these pants?
Sh-
Suki pants?
Suki Lalas? You dickhead. What about?
Kids.
I've got one for you. What about tuck shop? Where the word tuck shop come
Oh,
from?
you don't know that one? Nah. Okay, that was Pub Emma. Thanks, everyone. I know everything.
Just asking.
I'm like AI. Chat Taz BPT.
I thought
Just wait, we need another beer.
Taz loves BBD. Big black dick. No, tuck shop comes from referring to a small canteen. It originated in the West Country of the UK and later spread to Australia, and it was linked to the slang word of tucker.
Tucker.
That's to tuck into your food, and that's where tuck shop come from. I thought that was good.
Carlson.
You obviously didn't think it was that good, so fucking shut up, you
Is there like a yay button you
Yeah,
can press?
yeah.
No, I need to have
That's
a-
what we need.
yeah.
We need a yay button.
Yay!
That's a great idea. We definitely need a yay button. What was the other one I had here? Oh, here's one for you. Here's one for you. This is a bit dark, going back to like genocides and shit like that. Think about this for a second, and this is again timelines. You know how we see timelines and being relevant. Did you know that the first McDonald's in the US opened the same day as Auschwitz?
No.
There you go. Those two places opened at exactly the same time. And Auschwitz, where was Auschwitz?
Germany?
No,
Nah.
no.
Where is that?
I know. I always thought Auschwitz was in Germany too, because that's where they were knocking them all on the head. Auschwitz is in Poland.
Poland.
Yeah. So they were exporting them, giving them a trip and then a shower. Stop it. It's a bit cold. But yeah, the first McDonald's and Auschwitz opened at the same time.
Fuck me.
Same day. Imagine that. Different kind of cheeseburgers.
I watched the old the documentary on how McDonald's started.
And how, yeah, go.
Yes, I can't remember. No, I'm pretty sure it was. I'll make this. No, I'm trying. Well, because you asked me, I'm like, I'm trying to remember the show now.
You're a flog, eh? I got all excited too. I was like,
I was too. I was like,
was it Ronald? Was it really Ronald?
no, it was actually a fellow did it, and he wanted to make it better by making the fast food side of things, the drive-through side of things better.
Oh,
So he did
okay,
that,
yeah.
And it got faster and better and quicker. Then he's got bought out or sold out for fuck all, and someone stole his idea and fucking made millions.
And hijacked it.
Yeah,
You're kidding?
there we go.
No.
McDonald's, or Macca's as known in Australia, began in 1940. The brothers Richard and Maurice McDonald in San Benito, California. They initially operated a barbecue restaurant. So, and what happened? Kroc, the businessman, later joined them and fucked them over. Is that what it was? It transferred the business into a global chain that it is today. And he also made Crocs. Ray Kroc.
Hang on.
Revamped
I've
the
actually just
business.
debunked one of the ones I was about to say.
Yeah, well, that's most of your stuff you say.
No. I check about 30% of it. I
25.
was meant to say 60%.
25% of the time.
There's at least
All the
30%
time.
of it's true. Never let the truth get in the way of a good yarn. So I read somewhere that Ivana Trump, Donald Trump's first wife, is buried on his golf course. And the reason they buried her on the golf course is because then technically it is a cemetery and no one can be taxed on a cemetery.
For real?
Apparently. But then I've just read 3 different ones that say, actually the 3 I just read gave 3 different burial sites. One of them being the golf course, another one being some cemetery, and another one being she's not buried anywhere.
One was the 90th hole.
No, hole number 1. Hole number 1.
Number one.
Wouldn't she feel great knowing that she's his number 1 hole?
Yeah.
Isn't that a claim to fame? What else you got? You got anything else?
I think you might have said this one on another one when the saying "bark up a wrong tree."
Have we said
say-
that one?
I
No,
think
I
you
don't know
said
if
that
I
one on
have.
here.
Barking up the wrong tree. No?
So it all come from the old days where they used to go hunting and the dogs used to chase the ferrets and all the pheasants up the trees and stuff, and they'd chase them and they'd go up the wrong
You,
tree. And they
you
say,
literally named the 2 animals that they would never have chased up a tree.
And-
Ferrets and pheasants. Well, pheasants don't go up tree. Well, maybe in the bushes.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
go.
Fez-
Anyway,
I've seen Fez up.
I'm
a
just
tree.
trying to shit on your stories. Could you shout
Fez a
online?
free-range pigman. I've seen him up heaps of trees. They chased him up a tree. So the saying is, when they bark up the wrong tree, if they're chasing an animal and didn't go to that tree, like, you're barking up the wrong tree. So
And then
leave
you
me alone.
And then you shoot that dog?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely shoot that dog.
Yeah. I'm going to take you to the wrong tree, blow its head off. All right, I've got one. What about? You ever heard of Cliff Young?
No. I might have, actually. I have heard. Yeah, he's a singer.
No, that's Cliff Richard.
Ah.
Close though.
He was young
Close.
once.
This bloke up here.
Oh, yeah. No, I
Hey.
knew I did.
What a legend!
Yeah, but we've spoken about him before on here.
Have we?
I watched the documentary on him.
I did too.
Did you?
Isn't it pretty cool? Like that is
Wait.
the epitome of just old bull and young bull, isn't it?
So, did you watch the girls that he brought up with, the twins?
No,
Yeah, they looked after him until he died or something.
really.
And they were the 2 girls that, when not long ago someone jumped into the back fence and he's like, he had a gun, and it was on an Insta and they actually talk at the same time and everyone
Oh
was
yeah.
memeing them.
Is that them?
That's them.
No, stop
Same
it.
girls.
Oh, that's some back of Birkin bread
Yeah.
shit. That is, isn't it?
So You have to look into that because I'm pretty sure they look exactly the same as them. Otherwise, it's
So for the folks that missed it, right? Cliff Young went in the Sydney to Melbourne marathon going back. When was it? When did he go on it? 1979. There he goes. He was 58 years old, and
He's a cattle farmer. Or
he was sheep
dairy
farmer or cattle,
Dairy.
dairy, was it? Yeah. And because he wanted to save money and wasn't a really rich farmer, he used to chase his cattle to round them up.
Yeah.
He'd just jog along behind them, not at a breakneck pace, just enough to keep them moving and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, he used to help round the stock on foot during the Great Depression because they couldn't afford horses. So he went in this race because he kind of thought, well, I can do that. The difference is, like, he smoked it, and I think the record still stands today. I don't think anyone's beaten that record of 3 days and 2 hours and whatever it was, because he didn't sleep.
Yeah, he just kept going.
He just kept going.
The follow comes second. It's like, oh, we'll just just he'll just go to sleep here and we'll catch up to him in the morning. He's like, he's 12 hours ahead now.
They woke up the next morning and he was gone because he just didn't stop. But he wasn't like jogging. He was just kind of
like a
shuffle.
They call it the young shuffle.
That's right. Yeah. And not to be confused with the Melbourne shuffle. You need a few pingers to do that one. But he just off he went. Just shuffled along, didn't stop, didn't sleep, and smashed the absolute record. And the record still stands today.
If you watch the
It's so cool,
documentary
man.
a bit, it sort of got to his head a little bit because he was on a farm living with his mum, and he was, 60, whatever he was, 50 or whatever it was, and he was living with his mum at the same time, and then they would he'd go out every day and bring the cat, and then all of a sudden this girl seen him win it and all that, so then she become part of his life, and then sort of come and moved mum out of the way and all that sort of thing, and it and then I think she left him, and but it sort of he done a lot of interviews and stuff, and it sort of really got to his head a bit.
The fame, like being known,
Yeah,
because he was such a quiet kind of a dude.
yeah, and it should, like, he was a really nice bloke and everything, but it's sort of the girl come and she was like 30 years younger than him or something. Yeah, so it was.
At least he got some booty.
How old was he?
39 year,
39
year age difference.
So
wow.
we just got to go for a jog, bro, and we can get some young ones.
Yeah. A jog to Rockhampton. I don't want a young listeners that bad. Are you kidding me? That's crazy talk. There you go. That's insane. But isn't that cool? That's just determination, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's just a
62
different.
and she was
Oh my God,
23.
62 and 23. Oh, that's a bit. Oh, that's a
Like,
bit much.
have a look at
Isn't
her,
it?
but why the fuck would you want to?
Has she got a head like a half-chewed minty?
Oh,
Oh no, she's not that bad. It's a
I think-
semi-chewed
no,
minty.
but it was after he did the race. It
I mean,
wasn't
look at his
before,
head. You can't talk about her head. Look at his head.
But it was after the race, and see if you can put right in Cliff Young and then the twins, those ladies. Cliff Young, twins. Those two.
Those two, yeah.
They're the ones that. And he jumped the back. And he jumped the back fence. And he says, "Stop! He's got a gun! He's got a gun!"
They've been in the media a few times. Those two, not just that one time. Because I just recognised the one there with the animals in their hand, and
Yeah.
they were carers. Weren't
Yeah,
they on
they're at what do you call it? Zoo.
Australia Zoo?
Yeah.
And weren't they on like a kids' TV show for a while, like talking about animals and
Ranger
that?
Sally.
Yeah,
probably.
something like
Ranger
that.
Stacey.
Ranger Stacey.
Ooh,
Would you?
Ranger Stacey.
Would have. Yeah.
Would've.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
And aggro too.
Would have done it, Agro.
Aggro's.
Have you watched the stuff of Agro when the stuff he said on the TV show?
Man,
you need to
it was the
YouTube
best.
that.
It was the best. Some of the stuff Aggro got away with, like honestly, you'd probably almost get locked up for that sort of stuff now.
And he's saying it on telly.
Yeah, slipping a rubber glove on, and he's like, "Are you ready for your internal?" Dude, you can't say that anymore.
But he's saying it on a kid's.
On a kid's TV show at 7 a.m. in the morning.
There's the twins. Look, that's them there. Like Bridget and Paula Powers.
TV in the 80s, eh? Like it was just different. You finish having a wank to Aerobics Oz style, and then you change the channel and
Ranger Stacey.
you're listening to Aggro talk about fingering Ranger Stacey. Like I mean, this is how we grew up, bro. You
Oh, the
missed
good
all
old
of this.
days.
The
You
good
missed
old
out.
days. The good old days. That's exactly right. And
Do I need to
then
get the walking stick?
steady on, bro. Steady on.
You're gonna need a walk.
You're 100% right. All right, the last one I got. Okay, is us blokes. We probably get accused of being, two-faced and this and that and the rest, and we're not our true selves and blah blah blah. But have you seen some of these makeup tutorials that go on now online?
The ones with the crackhead ladies,
Like
and how
literally
beautiful
a crackhead with
Yeah.
no teeth. Like she has to put her teeth in, then get the sprayer out and put her makeup on and all that sort of stuff. So I've got a real good mate of mine, Chef. Shout out, Chef.
Is that your nickname?
no, it's not. And he is a solicitor, so he's right up there on all things solicitation. No, that's the wrong way. No, he doesn't. I'll clear this up. He doesn't solicit anything.
Yeah, that's what solicitors
He's
do.
a lawyer. It's not solicitation. But we should be able to. Like, if you take a bird home, not that we do anymore because we're married, but if any of you young fellas out there, if you were to take a bird home and you go to bed with like a solid 8.5, and then you wake up with like a -3,
Yeah.
that's gonna trauma.
Yeah.
That's some trauma right there. You hope your mates
Well,
don't
pretty
find
much,
out about
you
it.
will lose your arm if she sleeps.
If
with
you're
you.
going to
You
chew
will
it off. You will absolutely chew it off.
You will chew-
So
you
young
will lose
fellas,
an arm.
the young fellas these days have to carry one, a condom, because STDs are a real thing, and two, one of them nice big zip ties, so you can
Yeah.
tourniquet it
Yeah,
and then
so
chew it.
dies before you cut it off.
That's exactly right. That's how
And
I
you
look
have
at
to
it.
take a pocket knife, and then you get in trouble if you get caught with a
But
knife
if
up
you
down.
go home with a 10 and you wake up with a 2, okay, there is a section of the Trade Practices Act of 1974. So this is a shout out to all the young fellas that remember this, okay?
Take this in, boys. Listen.
It's section 52 of the Trade Practices Act of 1974. It's now been replaced by the Consumer Law, but it applies. It applies. And it's basically if... So if you go home with a 10 and you wake up for a 4, you could potentially sue that individual under false and misleading pretenses.
And 100% do it.
I think so too. I think that's a fair call.
That's
I
a
think
lie.
all the ladies should just go out au
Yeah.
natural, no makeup, channel the inner Pamela Anderson,
Yep.
and just rock whatever's going on underneath
Yeah.
the caked up makeup because it's just not fair.
I say go for round 2.
Just to make sure you really made that mistake.
Q
And
reckons,
then to it.
Q reckons close your eyes and keep on humping. That's a fair call.
Close
'cause
your eyes, hope you don't die.
We've all done it. We've all done it. Let's be honest.
Oh, shit. So
As lo-
yeah, no, that's. But you think about it. They talk about us blokes being fake.
And the other one, not to have a crack at the women, but do you know, I just
No,
read this
fuck
the
'em.
other day. No. Think about this for a second. Imagine how many lives would have been saved if the pilots in 9/11 were women. Well, they would have missed. Anywho, that's all I got.
So I've been watching a little bit of. If you want to go down the rabbit hole of 9/11.
Oh, I'm so glad you will. Maybe this is why I wrote that down. Yes, go.
So I watched one this morning of these like police trucks that are like a dump truck
Yeah.
that came out of near Tower 7,
Yeah.
and there was like 20 of them driving out empty, and they were like a tip truck, but like a police truck.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck they were, but they drove out empty, and then like 20 minutes later, Tower 7 went kaboom.
Yep. There's so much bullshit evidence. Here's a cracker for you. Did you know that there is not one image, and there was plenty of images of planes going into the side of the buildings from that morning. Heaps of images. There is not one image of either of those planes being painted.
Is there?
Nope. No decals, no images of like British Airways or US Airlines or
Yeah.
Delta. I think it was Delta they said that they were. If you go through and look at every single one of those images, not one of those images is of a painted plane.
And another
They're
one,
just a grey plane.
if you want to look at what happened at
Mm.
the Pentagon,
Yep.
the hole that it made
Yep.
when it went into the Pentagon was the size of a plane, like the fuselage.
Yep.
But what happened to the wings?
And they never found. They said that when it crashed, it burned with such intensity that the whole fuselage was just incinerated, and never in history has a plane
Yeah.
incinerated on the fuselage. There's so much bullshit that goes along with that.
Let's go a little bit more down the rabbit hole.
Yes.
Rabbit holes, rabbit,
Rabbit
holes.
holes.
We're going to go down rabbit holes.
Okay, go.
So the person who designed and built the two towers,
Yep.
that were made. So I think it was half the building could disintegrate, and 110-mile winds couldn't blow it over,
That's right.
or something.
Do you
like
know
that.
Building 7 never got hit by a plane?
No. and
And it
why?
collapsed. And for the first like 6 or 7 seconds that it collapsed, it was at free
controlled.
fall speed.
Mm.
And the only way you can do a free fall speed on any building is a controlled demolition.
Yep.
And the dude that bought, here's another one for you. The bloke that, what's his name? I want to say Silverstein, I think his last name is. Who owns the Twin Towers? Shoot,
Yeah.
or who owns
And didn't he put a
the
big
Twin
insurance
Towers?
or something on him? a
He
couple of weeks
did.
before?
He did. No, not Twin Towns. That's down there.
It's the Gold Coast.
Yeah. Was it
Yeah, you're
Larry
right, yeah.
Silverstein? I thought it was Harry, but it was Larry Silverstein. Okay, so this dude bought the buildings, right? And he used to have breakfast in the cafe or restaurant or whatever in Tower 1 every single day, except that one. He was crook. There's no
a big
bullshit.
crook.
And he's even been pulled up in interviews about it. And he was like, I was just feeling under the weather that day.
Feeling under a plane.
And he also changed the insurance policy. He also changed the insurance policy on it within the months leading up to it or something like that. He changed the insurance and insured it for way more than what it was supposed to be worth as well. And here's a kicker for you. Remember last year? I think it was the start of last year, that bulk carrier, that container ship hit that bridge and knocked that bridge down.
Yeah.
Larry Silverstein owned that bridge too.
Did he?
Yep.
Sounds like an awesome person.
Hey? Yeah, grub. Silverstein. That name sound Jewish to you?
Yeah, it doesn't sound a bit
Has a bit of a
Swedish.
twang to it,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
No, I
Yeah.
think He's from Ireland.
He's Irish.
Look at him. He's
Yeah.
just got devil written all over him.
So there you go. Isn't that interesting? Super interesting. It was, I think I even took a snapshot of it. I saw probably one of the best analogies of the whole thing the other day. No, that wasn't it. And I didn't snapshot it. I thought I did. It was talking about all the people that died because of 9/11. And it was like, the 6,000 people in America. There was another, a couple of 100,000 in Iraq and Saudi Arabia and wherever else it was. And they all died for absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Those people had nothing to, the people in the Middle East had absolutely nothing to do with it.
They died
And they
to
got
start a
29
war, and so a lot of
2,900.
people make a lot of money.
That's all it is.
Yep.
And it feels like there's a bit more of that shit going on right now, but I'm not even going to get into the political side of it because, I do that too much. Sorry.
So, of course, we had hoops on last week.
Yep.
I didn't get to chat about my fishing experience the other day with the young fella. I put
Is it a fishing experience if you don't catch nothing?
no, it's a fish. No, this is a different one.
Oh, is it?
I went up to Brumby. I
Oh, up
went
the
and
river.
caught some prawns.
Yes,
and
yes,
stuff.
yes. Go,
went and
go,
caught some
shoot.
prawns and stuff, and
Yep.
went to go barra fish and put it on the Insta so you can check it out. And on Pub Mo and I think mine. And we went up. I went and got some prawns. I call them lollipops. They're barra lollipops. The old prawns. This time of year, especially when it gets a bit cool, they'll only eat the old freshwater prawn. So I went and got a few of those. Went up the river. Went to my mate Brumby's farm. Cruised down through the river. So I rang him up and I said, "Should I take my gun?" He's like, "Yeah, we'll have a look on the way up there." And I said, "Oh, what's the walk?" Because the walk was a big, steep rainforest walk down to the bottom.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, probably don't bring your gun just because we're going down a steep hill and shit and that." We got about 20 meters down the hill and here's a mob of 20 pigs.
What's that?
Just running everywhere. And I'm just like, in my head, I'm standing there going, bang, bang.
Standing there with your bait caster.
Flick the lure at him.
I got it.
So then that happened. So then we kept going and we got down to the river and we snuck up to the river real quietly because he went a couple of weeks before and he's seen a croc slide there. So he's like, "We'll go down there and we'll go real quiet." Got down there and he looks across and in the video you can see us. We're looking across at a 3-meter croc.
Is a good one.
Yeah. So it slowly went into the water because it's seen us. So then I said to him, "Oh, so where's your fishing spot here?" He goes, "Where that croc was." I said, "Oh yeah." So because it was just a steep rainforest ledge we had to go along, and then there was like a meter of water to get to this where the croc was sleeping, a meter of riverbank pretty much, and then it was a steep edge. And I said, "So where are we going?" He goes, "We got to go over there." And I said, "Well, how are we getting over there?" He goes, "Walk along the bank." And I just seen a 3-meter croc go in the fucking water, cunt. Like, for real? And he's like, "Yeah, it's the only way we get over there." "Oh, don't worry about him. He's scared of us
Don't
now."
worry about him.
Yeah, that's what he reckons. "Don't worry about him. He's scared of us now." I'm like, "Okay." So I ran over there.
Yeah.
All I could think about was my young fella because he was with us too. And I'm just like, fuck. If he
So you
gets
threw
me-
him in the water and then ran over
First,
there.
I'm like, he's the youngest. I can make more of him.
Did your best impression of a quokka. Sacrifice your young.
And so I threw him in, and we kept going. Nah. We got over there, and that we were fishing. Anyway, it was just getting on dark, and we went back. We caught one barra. Brumby caught a barra. We went back across, and we're sitting on the bank there, and he goes, "Oh, we'll just sit here and have a cast just before it gets dark." Anyway, I seen old mate's head pop up, out about 30 meters out. I said to Brumby, I said, "He's looking at us there, right?" And he goes, where? And I looked out, and just as he looked up, he breathed out his nose and went back
Dropped
down.
down.
And I said, he just triangulated us.
Yeah,
eh?
yeah, that's
'Cause
right.
that's what they do. They come up and they triangulate, they get the distance and all that, and then they'll just fucking come and pop up out
Crawl
of the
along
water
the bottom.
and just jump out of the water at that spot. If you move a meter or two,
They'll
you'll
probably miss you.
they'll miss you.
Yep.
They're just going to fly out at that spot. And I said to him, so we've probably got like a minute before this thing has a crack at us. And he's like, oh, yeah, no. And that's that other time. I said, Brumby, let's fucking move. Like, just need to move from this fucking spot at least.
Just 6 yards, mate. That's all I'm asking for.
And then I said to him, we should go and get a mannequin and just stand it in the water and put a camera on it and
watch
see
it
what
get
happens.
whacked.
Yeah, just see if it gets fucking hit. Because that croc would just eat all those pigs that we see.
Of course it would.
They would cruise along that bank. They would get smacked all the time.
Did you catch anything?
One barra.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good one?
No, it was only like 60, 65 or
Getting
something.
cold now, though.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny, though, wherever the crocs are, there's fish.
Yeah.
They're not silly.
No. not
And
at all.
pigs and all that sort of thing. My wife and boys went for a ride the other weekend, just around our place, and a mate of mine was fishing on the other side of the bank from where we are, over at a little creek that pops out.
Yep.
And he rings me. He goes, "Your missus and kids riding their horses today?" And I said, "Yeah, I think they're out and around the cane there somewhere now." He goes, "You know that real big black bastard, the crocodile we're talking about here?" He goes, "He was sitting on the bank just opposite me," and he goes, "And I was happy as, you know." And then all of a sudden he just sat up and let out a big kind of hiss that they do, and then he just smashed down into the water. He goes, and I got a bit of a fright, and he said that within about 3 seconds, your wife and the two boys come around the corner on their horses. He goes, it was probably the footsteps
Yeah.
that kind of alerted him that someone was coming. Don't get me wrong, they're on a bank that's much higher than the water. And I rang the missus and I said, "Are you out on the horses?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "You see that crocodile?" And she goes, "Nah, but we heard him." She said, "We come around the corner, we just heard this massive big splash. And when we walked into view, she said, I could see the ripples going out across the bank." And I was like, "Boys, up against the cane, boys." Yeah, they're around at the moment. Hey, you're starting to see them more when it gets cold.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen any around my place in ages, and then just in the last kind of 4 weeks.
Yeah, as soon as the cool weather comes out, it's like you get to count how many crocs
They're
are in
all
your
up on the
area.
bank. Yeah.
Pretty much. But someone put a post up today of these two people sitting at Lucinda, near the water, and they had croc signs behind them and that. I'm like, there's two ways of looking at that. This time of year, I'd like to. Can you Google how many winter attacks happens in North Queensland? Croc attacks.
You reckon? You reckon there's a correlation in...
Oh, definitely. It's at this time of the year for sure. They're in fucking hibernation mode right now.
attacks in Australia. Okay, all right. This could be interesting. You could be onto something here, actually.
Compared to summer, whatever, yeah. There'll be a fucking huge difference
There you go.
versus New Zealand.
There's no specific readily that distinguishes. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know what you mean.
But 100%, there would definitely be a big fucking difference because they're
Oh,
only
they're a
more
lot-
active and they're more aggressive. that
And
time
during
of the year.
summer.
I watched a thing on, there's some certain crocodile overseas somewhere, and they can actually swim with them when the water temperature is a certain temp.
Yeah,
It's like a swampy
it's
sort
a delta.
of place.
It's called the Oka. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Crocodile.
You idiot. No, that's something Okabuna Delta. I'm getting that so wrong now that I've said it. It's in Africa, and yeah, they can
Yeah.
go and swim with them during the winter months. There's been a few. Oh, it's in Africa.
And
It's in Africa, and that species of crocodile is the biggest.
yeah,
They get the
they're
biggest
fucking
crocs
huge.
over there.
And they actually swim right beside them. But
They do.
They got a temperature gauge with them, and they said once the water, if it changes 1 degree, get the fuck out of the water.
Okavango Delta. There you go.
Botswana.
And they can actually go swimming with them, and even some people go scuba diving with them. Have you ever seen the footage from that? A few
Yeah.
guys have been diving, and
Yeah.
they're getting like
Yeah.
half a meter away
That's
from
the
these
ones
big
I've seen.
crocs,
It was like they were just
sleeping
swimming.
under the
Yeah.
water. It's nuts, isn't it? But then again, I suppose when you're in a body of water that has hippos, crocs are the least of your problems. It's probably why the crocs are so quiet.
Yeah, like, fuck, we're gonna get eaten.
That's exactly right. I'll just stay on my lane, otherwise I'll get eaten too.
So the other thing I was thinking about, you know how we did that fishing trip the other day there and went up, and they're like, there's a new law out now, isn't there? You can't fish near where crocs are, and that they've actually made
Really?
a new law. Yeah,
When?
since I think it's old mate since up Cooktown, he got done.
Really?
And
Really?
there's another fella up near Babenda was caught like video fishing.
I saw that.
beside
That's just a
But
flog.
I'm pretty sure they made a new law.
In Queensland, new ruling to fish are in effect. It's now an offence to feed or attract crocs by leaving. Well, we know that. Includes fish frames.
Yeah, but you're not even allowed to fish in those areas. I'm pretty sure.
Far out.
I'm pretty sure if you're like fishing near a croc, you're in trouble, sort of thing.
Yeah, right. Unlawful to unintentionally. There's the catch on the word, isn't it? It's the unintentional instead of intentionally feeding.
But it's not even the feeding one. I think it's pretty much if you fish near them, and you know that there's a croc there, and you're pretty much putting that croc's life in danger if it eats you.
Well,
That's why
because then it gets shot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And here's what so for the folks down south, right? You see plenty of people up in FNQ and that sort of thing, and plenty of people do it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but if you think that 2 meters back from the water is enough, it's not.
That's 5.
It's 5 at least, because if a big animal
Keep your
comes
eye
out
on
of
the water at 5.
if a big animal comes out of the water at you, chances are you can probably turn and run fast enough to get away from it if you stay on your feet. I would guarantee if a big animal launches out of the water at you like that, you will not stay on your feet. You'll backpedal, you'll fall on your freckle, and then you go. And even 5.
If it's a 5 meter croc, that's the length of its body.
That's
They can
right.
move
And he's
in
coming out of that water
1 second.
in such a short space of time. So if you live down south and you listen to us and you're travelling across the top end of Australia, be croc wise, because there is so many crocodiles now.
Yeah, be like us the other weekend.
Oh, yeah, when you were at the Mardi Gras, you were cockwise.
Yeah,
It was
cockwise.
different. Yeah, there's a different, a different kind of creature coming out of the water at you.
There's a few cocks up there. Cocaine, everything.
And you don't land on your back, you land on all fours when you're trying to get away. Stop it. Anyway,
Doing the crocodile roll.
the crocodile roll. What else you got in there? Shoot.
All
Anything?
I got is probably a pretty serious one. We've sort of skimmed it, and I'm gonna bring it up now, and I'm just gonna ask you, how are you going? Are you okay after the post you put up on the weekend?
Yeah. Nah. Yeah, nah.
Yeah, no.
You know what's funny, man, is I've been trying to figure out a way to talk about it on here for ages. And what kind of pissed me off, and I didn't realise it when I put that post up, I had no idea it was that like whole Men's Mental Health Week.
Yeah.
And it kind of...
It's Mental Health Month. I think.
Month, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And I kind of went far out. I hope I didn't cheapen that by putting it up. Like, I didn't want to come across as one of those people that...
I think also you just saying that it's not even that. It's
No, I know. And like, to be honest, anyone that thinks that, I couldn't give 2 fucks anyway. It's been something that's been coming for like a while, because I don't think these kind of things happen overnight. I don't think there's any kind of... There's not a trigger or a thing that causes it. It's a gradual progression. Like going and seeing the psychiatrist, I made that appointment 3 months ago, because you know what it's like trying to get in to see any specialist up this way. It takes a while. So that was a fair while ago. I'll preface all of this though by saying, like, I've got a good life. I've got real good mates around me. I've got an awesome family. I've got a good life, you know. And I think a lot of blokes in the same boat. We all do. If you stand on the outside looking in, I'm not going to bitch and whine. There's plenty of people that have
we live in a pretty fucking awesome
We
country.
do, mate. We live in an awesome country. We're super lucky and all that sort of stuff. But there's just probably times as a bloke that things just start to get the better of you. And then as a bloke, especially from our demographic, you probably don't talk about it too much. You don't deal with it. You just
Put it to the side.
yeah,
Yeah.
put it to the side. Just fucking, it's life. It is what it is. Blah blah blah. And then it just becomes a cumulative thing.
Yeah.
It just slowly gets a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And I just got to the point where on the outside, probably not those that aren't close to me, i.e. those that aren't living under the same roof as me, probably wouldn't have seen it, because, you know me, I try and be pretty happy and take the piss and all that sort of stuff. But then when you're at home where you're most comfortable, it tends to be where those kind of real things start to come out.
Yeah, and it's sort of the closer people bear the brunt
Of course they do,
as well. Yeah.
unfortunately.
Mm.
And like I said in that post, if you're also not outwardly wanting to be sad, which no one wants to, or miserable or depressed or whatever, it often will just come out. It will just manifest as something else. And for me, it just manifests as being a cranky cunt.
Yeah.
It just does. And I fucking have very little in the way of emotional control. Or I have had for the last kind of, say, 12, probably even 18 months, really. It's just been progressive. And I don't have the, I don't have the ability to talk about it. I don't have the ability to deal with it. And it just is getting worse and worse. And it's gotten to the point now where I can see my kids starting to have the same, I don't want to say issues, but I can see my kids dealing with things the same way that I do.
Yep.
Falling into the same cycles.
Yeah,
you would
bro.
say?
Just not being calm,
Mm.
not thinking things through, not talking about things, just blowing up, just getting the shits on about the world straight away, and especially my middle boy, because he's as ADHD as I am, and he's been diagnosed with that. And part of this whole thing of going and seeing the psychiatrist is getting a diagnosis for me as well, because pediatrician said that we should probably medicate him a while ago, and we haven't, and he's doing just fine. Look, whether he needs to be medicated or not, we'll wait and see. But I thought it's a pot calling the kettle black if I think he should be when I'm not having a good hard look at myself.
Yep.
Because I think a fair bit of it probably stems from that. There's other things too, like everyone's got some form of trauma.
Oh.
Mine's certainly not anything savage.
We've all
But
got
it doesn't
those traumas.
invalidate how you feel either.
No, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And another thing that they talk about is your trauma is your trauma.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing that's ever happened to you.
Yeah.
So that is the worst thing that's ever happened to you. So
Yeah, it's
you've put that at a 10.
And your ability to
Cope.
cope.
Yeah. And your coping mechanisms.
Yeah, that's the one, cuz. Yeah, and that's what I don't have.
Yeah, and you're turning to.
Yeah. And then Amy and the kids are copying it. So I just thought to myself, I've got to go and do something, because over the last probably 6 months now, just shit was starting to get a little bit too dark, man.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
I was starting to have some thoughts that I probably shouldn't fucking have.
Yeah. No, shit, man.
Yeah, it is, bro. But it's like, like the psychiatrist said to me, it's completely treatable. And you know what's funny is he explained it in a really simple way, and it all kind of comes back to serotonin.
Yeah.
You get to a point in your life sometimes where you're just not getting any serotonin.
Mm.
Everything's just getting you down. Everything's making you miserable. You're not seeing an end game,
Yep.
an end point, and then you start looking for an end point that you shouldn't be looking for.
Yep. That's not a good one.
No. And it's a big thing at the moment. It is. I read somewhere the other day, every 2 minutes, globally,
Yep.
a bloke's killing himself. Every fucking 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, we only look at the numbers from Australia because that's where we live. But when you look at it on a broader thing, do I think there's a cause for it, or man, you could, how long's a piece of string?
Yeah. Another one is that I've heard of other people when they go through heavy depression, they forget about everyone else and it's just themselves.
Yeah, that's right.
It becomes they don't really care about anyone anymore. And if they leave, they'll feel like they're better off without them. Well, put it this way, mate. There's everyone out there, if you're listening, you're worth it.
And that's
100%.
I think
Your kids or family, they want you around.
you just hit the nail on the head, man. I think a lot of blokes out there at the moment, and I'm speaking for me, I'm not speaking for anyone else, I'm speaking for me, and I feel like this is something that'll probably resonate with a lot of people. I think a lot of blokes at the moment are struggling with their self-worth.
Yeah.
You're just expected to rock up, show up for work every day,
Yep.
go through the motions, just keep on keeping on,
Yeah.
because that's what blokes have always been expected to do.
Especially the FIFO blokes. I've had a good conversation with a few of them, and a lot of families break down over the FIFO side of things is because, I'm not going to blame the wives, but the partners think when they go out to this mine, they're just having a nice old time, and it's just 12 hours a day is just nothing, and you get to just get fed, and you get all your food and everything made for you, bed made for you, and you get to go home. It's like, but you're away from your family. You're working your ass off. You're around a heap of people you really don't want to be around.
FIFO is shit. I
Yeah.
did FIFO years ago when I was young and single and no missus and no kids. Didn't even have a dog, and I didn't even like it then.
Mm.
Like it's not. You just bust your ass out there all day, and then when you're finished, if you've got the energy, you might go to the gym for an hour.
Yep.
You go get a feed. The older blokes might go to the wet mess and have 2 beers, and then you're in bed, and it's Groundhog Day.
But also-
eat, sleep, work, repeat. That's all it is.
I think they need to have more support from the FIFO companies back to the wife to let them know that what they're fucking going through, those people that are heading out to the mines and just fucking working their ass off, and then they're being away from their family and they don't actually get to see their kids grow up and stuff like that. So it's a shit situation, but yeah, I reckon if they can bring that to light a bit more and not even just bring it like in your situation, it's none of that. And imagine adding FIFO to that.
Oh, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's just fucking crazy, isn't
Couldn't
it?
do it at all. Just couldn't do it. I think sometimes too, it's not that it's there, not that it is, but it probably feels. And this is the hard part, I think, when you start to get a bit dark, and your outlook starts to get a bit dark.
Yep.
All you see is dark.
Mm.
You just start to see the negative in everything.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? You start to become pretty resentful as well, and it's hard to know whether that's valid or not.
Mm.
Like, are you seeing it because that's what's happening, or are you seeing it because that's what you think is happening?
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
And then that compounds. You start seeing these tiny little things in your day-to-day life at home or whatever, where you kind of think, fuck, that's like, come on, that's shit. Like
Yeah.
that shouldn't be. And then it's something else, and then it's something else, and then it's
Yeah,
something
you
else.
are your thoughts.
And that's what got me.
Yep.
And I just started looking around home. There was nothing at home, and there probably still isn't now. There's nothing at home that I go, I like that, or that's for me. I don't see anything in my life at the moment being for me. It's just being for everybody else.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I'll never begrudge. Like, I chose to have a family and get married and all that
Yep.
sort of stuff, and I'll do that till the day I die, because that's what you should do. But yeah. It's hard, eh?
Mm.
It is.
This gets fucking hard, man.
Yeah. No, fucking, and big ups for you to doing what you did.
And
And-
for,
Yeah, I had to do
For
something.
sending it.
Couldn't keep going the way I was fucking going.
You sent me the message on Friday afternoon, and I watched it in the car while I was heading somewhere, and you asked me should I post it, and I ran it past my wife. I said, "What do you think Josh should post?" She was halfway through it. She goes, "Fucking post it.
Yeah, I know.
Get him to fucking post it." She didn't even finish it. She said it definitely needs to be out there, and it's not like there's no weakness on your side of things for saying what you said.
No,
weak
I
to
don't
speak.
think so.
Yeah, it's
No,
not weak
it's
to
not.
speak
And
about
I know it. Like, in my head, I know it. Like, we talk about it enough on here. And months ago, when I decided that I needed to go and sort my shit out. Now, I've been lucky enough to find a real good GP as well. I think I said that on here last week or the week before. I've been lucky enough to find a real good GP and anyone living in rural areas probably knows how hard that is.
Oh, it's really hard.
It's a shit show. And, even getting in to see a psych, I was pretty lucky to get in to see the bloke that I did at the time, in the time frame that I did, and that's probably through working through the health service. It's not cheap, but it's just something that you got to do sometimes.
Yeah, and I know you can get a certain amount of free ones through your
Mental
GP.
health
Yeah,
plan, pretty
you
sure.
can.
You
Yeah,
get a
yeah,
mental
yeah.
health
And
plan
there's all the different, like, there's Beyond Blue. There's always someone you can call. There's always someone you can talk to. You can show up if things are really going to shit. You can show up to an emergency department.
Yep.
And they'll look after you. They will.
Yep.
But emergency departments are flogged these days.
Yeah.
And sitting in a waiting room with sickness and squalor around you for fucking 8 or 9 hours might not help too much
No.
either.
And at worst, if you can't get onto anyone, email us or text us. Or
Yeah,
anything.
just give us a yell, eh?
We'll get a hold of you.
And I'm
We'll
certainly
have a
not there. I know there's a podcast, a group of blokes that have tried to enter the mental health space, and they're getting a fair bit of flack thrown at them for the way they've gone about it. Is it right? Is it wrong? I'm certainly not going to comment on that, and I'm certainly not going to put ourselves out there as people of knowledge or experts on this topic or anything like that. But we'll put ourselves out there as an ear,
Yeah.
because I think that's what a lot of blokes don't have.
Yep. Definitely. if you're growing up around like the tough bloke era and all that sort of thing, don't have to let your mates know if they don't want to know, and we'll listen to you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because I think our generation sit right on the cusp of all this sort of stuff. Where our guarantee my old man certainly wasn't one to talk about his feelings too
Mine
much.
either.
My old man only talked about his feelings about 48 hours before he died.
Yeah.
You know, and he was on his deathbed. That's not when you want to wait to say the things that you need to say. You need to get them out beforehand, and you don't want moving forward. You don't want that for your kids, and that's been the big one for me.
Yeah.
I don't want them thinking that just going off the rails is how you deal with things. I don't want them thinking that you can't talk to each other about whatever.
Yeah.
Anything, everything. You should be. If your kids can't come to you and talk to you about this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And if that's not a good enough reason, I'm not just talking to the dads out there either, like the blokes that don't have kids, and I'm talking to the women out there as well. Like
There's a lot of women out there.
plenty of
the
women
same
out
thing.
there that are struggling with what's going on between the ears. But just go out and ask. Go out and ask for a bit of help.
Yeah.
It's probably better than what you're fucking doing.
It's just funny. So in America, there's so many people talk about, oh, I just went to my psych, and it's just normal. over
Yeah.
there. It's just like, that's who I just went and had a chat. I'll go every 2 weeks just to unravel stuff. Because a lot of
Work on your
stuff,
feelings, yeah.
a lot of stuff has happened in the past that people bottle up. They don't even know it's bottled up until they unravel it.
Or until it explodes.
That's the one.
Builds up, and then it just,
That's the one, man.
it's there.
That's the one. It's the exploding or imploding.
Yeah.
Either or. You're either taking it out on someone else or you take it out on yourself. And I think at the moment globally, there's just a bit of a pandemic of epidemic of blokes taking it out on themselves.
Yeah.
And on you know, the domestic violence is through the roof as well. And that's probably something that stems from
Same thing.
what's going on between the years and that sort of thing. You're not in a good spot if you're
No, definitely not.
going down that route either. And I'll never defend that.
No.
But we're not mental health clinicians. We're not anything like that. But if you ever need it here, hit us up on the socials and we'll have a chat to you. I'll do my best to share what's going on like over the next few weeks. I'm off to the shrink again on Thursday to try and get this ADHD diagnosis. But in the meantime, I'm on some friggin' antidepressants.
Yeah, I got to go with ADHD diagnosis.
anyone that knows me knows that, man. even after sitting with him for an hour, he was like, "Oh, look, I'm pretty sure that's a given. That's a given. We've still got to go through the motions and do all the stuff.
Keep your legs still on the floor there,
Yeah,
mate.
it's exactly right. Just sitting there doing this and doing that, like that's a given. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know if I got it, because I was sitting there on the weekend down at a pub, my leg was shaking, and they're like, "I've never done that before," and they're like, "What are you doing that for?" I'm like, "I just want to do something."
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think the reason I'm going for the ADHD diagnosis and to sort that out, number one, because the young fella is, and we're sitting on the fences whether to medicate him or whatever. So I figure if it is going to come to that for him, maybe we should do it together.
Yep.
Because I feel like it.
Might give you some closure.
Yeah, and
Like
I'm at the
closure
point.
about
I'm at the
why.
point where I genuinely think now that some medication probably will help me.
Yep.
Just that, like I look around my house at the moment, I have 95 unfinished jobs. I just changed track. And,
I must have it then.
it's that
Procrastination.
Oh yeah, bro.
It is.
Task paralysis is what they call it.
Yep.
You know, you start one thing, and if I'll pick up, you've seen what I'm like, man. I'll come across something that I'm interested in, and within 48 hours, I'm a fucking expert on it.
Yeah.
And then within 72 hours, I'll never talk about it again.
Yeah.
Because I'm on to the next thing. You know, that type of stuff. The ability to focus, the ability to just lots of things, and I think that's added to the shit show that is my brain at the moment.
Yep.
And if you don't, I mean, I said to the shrink that the one thing I don't want to be is medicated, as in permanently. But at the moment, I probably need to.
Yep.
So I'll keep you posted, eh?
It's really good for you to speak up, because it's fucking really hit home when you sent that to me. I was like, fuck, what are we going to do about that?
Thank you and you for making it easy enough to talk about.
Yep.
Because I only, you know me, I've only got a pretty small circle of friends, probably count them on one hand, and that's you fellas as well. And you don't, I think the shit part for a lot of these blokes that are going down that road that I don't want to go down, they probably don't feel like they've got friends like that.
A smaller circle. Yeah.
And then sometimes it's even hard to talk to your family because all they see is you going up and down like a yo-yo, and it tends to, with me, it just manifests as just being a cranky prick.
Yep. The resentment.
And I
all the
don't
stuff.
want to be. I'm not trying to be a cranky prick. It's just if I've got the choice between being sad or cranky, I'll just be cranky.
Yep.
I usually save my sad time for the mowing. Drive around the fucking lawnmower crying. Can't keep doing that, can you?
No, you gotta
No.
definitely.
Start mowing in a happy face circle instead.
Who fucking is happy when they mow?
Depends on how drunk you are. But yeah, so I'll keep you posted.
No,
Me and the missus have got to go on Thursday.
Yep.
I guess I don't know how much more correlation he needs to know that I'm fucked between the ears, but she'll give him some. Had to get the old lady to fill out. So he said to me, "Oh, do you reckon you'll have some report cards from when you were young?" I'm like, "How young?" He's like, "Primary school." I'm like, "Dude, I'm 45 years old. Like, who the fuck has that?" Like, that'd be bizarre if anyone had that.
I've got a couple, but one just says Tony will never amount to anything. They were fucking right.
I think one of mine said you guys got to stay out of the dunnies. Something like that. Anyway, I just hope that tuning in and listening to us. We always go for the laughs, we go for the banter, and that's what this is for. It's it's that escape for everyone. But
Just get a bit of escape.
sometimes you got to talk about the real shit because sometimes the real shit matters. At the moment, it matters, man. Like when there's someone necking themselves every 2 minutes.
No, we're not
globally.
having that. We're not having that in our group anyway.
I think we cracked
not the
6,000.
podcast group
Oh,
we've
mate,
got running.
You know what? Back during COVID, I lost 3 cousins, all my age, in the space of I think it was 8 or 9 months.
Yep.
All to
No
suicide,
good.
man. One after another. So I owe it to my family. I owe it to not just my family here, my extended family and that sort of thing back in
Yep.
New Zealand. We got to talk about it more.
Definitely.
We as a community, and I'm not just talking about a community of males. I'm talking about a global community. We got to do a little bit better. So if you are a chickie and you listen to us, and you've got a man in your life, a brother, dad, husband, boyfriend,
Ask them how they're going.
yeah, check in on them, like ask them, because they probably won't tell you outwardly.
Yep, and ask them twice. Say, how you
Yeah.
going? And then when they say okay, say, no, how you really going?
Yeah, it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah, it's exactly
Just
right.
need to find the
Yep.
outs. You need to find the help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. And the help's available.
Seek help.
I don't know where it is that you live or what it is that you do, but there's help available. But just
And at worst, contact us.
that's exactly right. So, anyway, on that note,
Yes, let's get
Done.
out of here. And I'll see
now,
you next
now that
week.
we've one more thing though, now that we've talked about the wrong angle, we better talk the right angle.
Yeah, I like to give a shout out to our 2 sponsors that we haven't shouted out yet.
That's exactly right. We didn't miss you, boys, and they've messaged too to check if I'm all right and all that sort of thing. So, Mark and the crew
They know what to do.
servicing all the cans,
The rest of NQ.
located in Gordonvale.
North of Innisfail.
Their cabinets are on sale.
Or the
Prices
cabinets
are
off the rail.
the prices are on sale.
Yeah.
So if you want a bitchin' kitchen,
Or flex with a desk.
just see Mark and the crew.
And they'll sort the rest.
Yes. And this time of year in FNQ, if you're getting ready for the good season where the weather comes down and all that sort of thing, you need
The
some work
Mackies
done
will
in
be
your
out
boats.
soon.
They're already out.
The Mackies
Yeah,
are out already.
around the
Cools
islands
through.
and that sort of stuff. Yeah, a few people have been getting them. A few
The
people got a
spotties.
few last weekend. Yeah,
Yeah.
the spotties and even Spaniards too.
Yeah.
The ones.
Yeah.
You
People
got
saying
Spaniards
they've seen
coming
them
short.
on Punt Point and stuff.
Yeah, and out of Dunk apparently they got
Yeah.
a few last
well,
weekend.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so go to there. Get yourself a Stacer boat with a
Going to
Mercury
where?
on the
Going
back.
to where? We haven't even said where yet.
Coastal Marine.
Coastal Marine, that's exactly
Outdoors,
right.
They're the one.
On the main Dragon Innisfail, Mercury and Stacer dealership. If you need your engine service, trailer fixed, all that sort of thing, they've
Yep.
got you covered. Hunting, what have they got?
Oh, they've got rifles. They've got night vision.
Seeing the
they've got-
dark stuff.
Seeing the dark stuffs. They got
Yep.
they even got spotlights. They got the red light spotlight, so
They
the
have.
pigs don't see it.
Yep.
All that sort of stuff. They've got it all.
They've got the little Quinton attachments, red dots.
biggest red dot.
Get in there, check him out, and they'll sort you out with whatever it is that you need.
And I just apologies to Joel. It was his birthday actually yesterday.
Oh, was it?
Yep.
Oh, far out.
And
It was just after mine.
yeah, so his birthday and I put a little present on his chair.
Oh, I don't think I saw
So
that.
I haven't put it up yet of what
Chuck it up.
happened. So I put a post up a couple of weeks ago of put a thing online of a mate that takes an esky from your house and then doesn't doesn't drop it off. And I said, so just tag a mate who is a cunt.
Man, that resonated with a lot of people. Have you seen that? I don't know how many views that's had
Do you know
now.
how many Eskies I got back that week?
Oh, did you? Didn't even realise how many Eskies you owned. It's like, why do I have all these fucking
It's like,
Eskies?
are we building a house out of these?
I have to look now. I need to know because that went a little bit silly.
Yeah. so the person who left me, they dropped the Esky off, but they couldn't drop it off to me. They had to drop it off at Joel's shop. So when they dropped it off at Joel's shop, they also super glued some stuff on the inside of the Esky, didn't they?
Yeah, I saw that.
And it was Sikaflex, not just super glue.
Was it? So it's not coming off.
Oh, it came off with a fucking chisel.
That's the Esky we're going to use from now on.
So I opened it up, and here's a blow-up doll and a 6-inch dildo. I measured it.
Was it only 6?
Yeah, I measured it. I'm like,
That's
oh, that's
disappointing.
cute.
It's cute.
It's 2 of mine.
So I opened the Esky up, and then that was there. I'm like, oh, this fucking arsehole. So I went to grab it off, to pull it off, and then it looked like I was just pulling a dick because it wouldn't come off. But it came. Nah.
But it came.
So then I had to get a chisel and chisel it off, and then Joel wasn't there. So
Why did you take it off? I would have left it there. That
No.
would have become the new fishing Esky for sure. Imagine when we take new blokes out on the boat. Yeah, just chuck your fish in that one over there, cuz.
So I spoke to these young fellas out the back. I said, what are we going to do to Joel? Joel's not here. And he goes, they're like, oh, we'll go out. I said, oh, I'll put the dildo on his front, on his chair, on his work
Yeah.
chair. So when I said, how are we going to put it on here? They comes out to give me a thing of Sikaflex.
Did you?
Sikaflex
So
up
it's
to his
proper on
chair.
there.
Proper on there. So
That's
when
the way.
he would have pulled it out this morning, I said, make sure when you talk to him in the morning, make sure he keeps eye contact. So when he sits down, he sits clean on it.
Was it a stool or like the rolling chair?
A rolling chair, like doing
nice
one of
one.
these.
Nice one. Fucking hell. That would have made the best figurehead on your boat. Just put it right on the bow of the boat, just straight dead
Straight
center,
in the point.
in front of the anchor. And as you're going out the reef, it does this.
Just know how many knots you're doing.
All right, that's where
How
it's
do you know where did knots come from? Nah.
yeah, that's where it's degenerated to. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. We're out of here.
All right.
I'm going for a night shift. What are you doing? Going to bed?
Yeah, have a couple of beers.
Couple
What you
more.
brought in? Fucking look at it. How many
You
you bring
said
in?
grab 5.
Yeah,
there was
I was
only
talking
3 left.
shit.
Oh, okay. Fair call. I'll hide them for you.
Now I have to drink them before we go back upstairs.
Away you go. All right, we're out of here. Talk soon.
Too easy.
Latest.
See you next week.